As the National Assembly Harmonization Committee is set up for its conference on the election bill harmonization, the Nigeria Civil Society Situation Room and its implementing partners has called for a dispassionate, selfless decision-making during the review process. The convener, Situation Room, NLOB, urged the Harmonization Committee to accept the version of the election bill that allows INEC to determine the mode of conduct of elections, including the transmission of results. KAFTAN television correspondent Benedict Uku reports.
The landmark proposal in the ongoing review process of the Elections Act Amendment Bill passed by the Senate and the House of Representatives, amongst which are the use of smart card reader, the deployment of electronic voting, collation and transmission of results and others, will commence its harmonization soon. Ahead of the bill harmonization, the Nigeria Civil Society Situation Room and EU-SDGN implementing partners has urged the Harmonization Committee to accept the version of the election bill that allows INEC to determine the mode of conduct of elections, including the transmission of results. The civil society community believe that INEC has the capacity to use technology in elections, including in the transmission of results.
Nigerians have expressed their expectations for an Electoral Act 2021 that will endure personal, partisan, and primordial considerations. Notwithstanding the landmark proposals in the ongoing review process, the civil society partners and key stakeholders have identified 17 points of divergence in the versions of the Elections Act Amendment Bill passed by the Senate and the House of Representatives. We expect that the Harmonization Committee will respect the version of electoral bill that allows the Independent Electoral Commission, INEC, to determine the mode of conduct for elections, including transmission of results.
Our first recommendation for the conference committee is to adopt the Senate version of Clause 43, which recognizes voting devices alongside election materials. We need the law to recognize this so that INEC can in future determine voting devices to deploy for elections. The power to determine the procedure for transmission of results should be vested with INEC without interference from any individual or government agency. That over 93% of polling units had mobile network coverage, 93%. And the Joint Technical Committee had said within the 7% that there was capacity to extend infrastructure to cover this. So if we have 93% of polling units that has access mobile network coverage, then what again is the question? I think it's important we know this.
The CEO of Albino Foundation, Jake Epele, also urged the Harmonization Committee to include a clause that will make the election process accessible for people with disabilities.
That the energy that they are spending right now trying to remove what many of them know is very critical. I wish they can spend that energy to look at what they did not include in the first place. I think there's also time for them to look at clauses that has to do with persons with disability that they did not include in the current process, clauses that women had proposed, youth had proposed, that they did not factor in. The energy and time that they are spending trying to remove what they know will make this election credible, free, fair, and inclusive should be spent in looking at what is missing that they can include.
The civil society community further disclosed that the bill, which stipulates Nigeria Communication Commission and National Assembly approval before election results can be transmitted electronically, presents a constitutional breach that may result in litigations which could put INEC's preparation for election in jeopardy. They, however, vow to continue to follow up with the Harmonization Committee's work and to urge it to act in the best national interests.